Yo guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, as you can tell next to me, we've got Palace Mad Mason. I'm going to drop his links down below. Absolute top geezer, supports Crystal Palace, so we're going to get into that today. Big game at the weekend, Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. Obviously, it's a bit of a top five battle at the minute. Crystal Palace have snuck their way up there, but in all fairness, they're playing really well, so you can't fault them for that. Liverpool sitting pretty at the top, 5 wins from 5. I can't complain too much. Performances haven't been there, but if you're getting the results over the line, I'm not too fussed. So anyway, joining me tonight is Palace Man Mason. First of all, Mason, how are you doing, mate? Like, how's your life, sort of thing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Just moved back into my uni comms, so yeah, things are a little bit hectic at the moment. But obviously, seeing Palace do well is obviously something that really makes me happy. So yeah, obviously, it's going well at the moment.
Yeah, I'm happy for you, man. Obviously, you beat us in the Community Shield, which I've done videos on it, but if you look at the overall picture, Palace deserved it that day. You were much better than us. I think in the overall general census, it's one of them. I'd rather the better team on the day win, and you guys did. No VAR nonsense, which we're going to get into in a minute because obviously we all love VAR. So obviously, what's the story behind Palace Man Mason? What made you want to get into content creation? And obviously, your love of Crystal Palace. Like, take me back to the beginning, basically.
Oh wow. So back when I was 16, so we're going back to 2021. Obviously, when Vieira first joined the club. I saw it as a fresh start. And I basically done some YouTube videos when I was like, I want to say like 12 or 13, like, and the videos weren't great and they weren't getting numbers or anything like that. And then I sort of stopped when I turned about 14. And then Roy Hodgson was in charge, and obviously we had COVID, and a lot of my videos, especially on my YouTube channel, were vlogging the games and stuff. So I thought that I'll take a bit of a backseat during COVID and hopefully come back afterwards. And that's what I did. And then I did the YouTube for about a year and a bit, and then everyone was suggesting for me to do TikTok because obviously it was more of a rising thing. So I decided to do that. Did a few videos which got some pretty good numbers, to be fair. Like, I don't really do it for the numbers. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just do it to get my opinion out there. I like talking about it, and it's what I like doing. Obviously, studying media as well helps that quite a bit. And yeah, that's sort of where we're sat today. Nearly 15,000 followers online. Like, if you put both numbers together for the YouTube and TikTok. And look, I appreciate everybody that's followed me across this journey. It's been really good.
It is. It's nice to see. Obviously, I've watched your content for a bit now, and it is refreshing to see a passionate fan who's actually in it for the love of the game. Because you do see these certain people that jump on the YouTube, TikTok bandwagon for the money, for the views. You've got to do it as a hobby. I'm a bit like yourself. I used to do videos way back when, and some of my mates watching this will know crossbar challenges on the Astro, dizzy penalties, the lot. I used to drag my mates out. Used to do the videos, get about 7 views. Did it for years. I thought, right, stuff this. Obviously was in and out of factory work, doing whatever, working part-time hours. And funny story, actually, AB, who's like massive now in the UK, he was on a podcast and he said, if you want to do something, just do it, be consistent, and see where you go. And obviously people do take the mick of it when you do social media, because it's not a, well, nowadays it is, but it's not a normal job like what, sitting in your room talking to your phone. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
once you get past that initial curveball of doing that, treat it like this, a FaceTime call, a podcast, whatever. It's really good, man. Obviously, I've only been doing it since, I think, early March, so I'm relatively new. Got about 2,000 followers on TikTok and just over 200 on YouTube. So again, fairly fresh, but gotta keep it going.
Yeah, 100%.
Obviously, speaking about your love for Crystal Palace, you've had quite a few managers. Roy Hodgson, Patrick Vieira, back to Roy Hodgson, and obviously now Glasner. What are your thoughts on them managers? And obviously, I'm guessing you're buzzing with Glasner at the minute, the way you guys are playing. Like, just take me through, obviously, the early Roy Hodgson days and sort of the ups and downs of how you've been.
Well, if I go back even further to when we got first promoted, obviously under Ian Holloway, didn't
Yeah,
start too well, and obviously we'd come off the back of liquidation 3 years prior. Obviously, with Steve Parish buying out the club, and obviously that achievement to get us promoted to the Premier League 3 years later, only 3 years later, was really, really good. And then obviously we didn't start well, but then 14-15, we got our first season finishing in the top half under Alan Pardew, / Neil Warnock, I suppose, because he got sacked in December of that season. And obviously then Pardew took us to a cup final, 2016 against United.
That celebration, mate, iconic as hell.
Yeah, well, that was really good. And you know what was really funny about that? Me being, what was I, like 9 years old, literally being up in the top of Wembley, and if you remember the goal, I thought it was offside.
Yeah.
So I've looked down at the linesman, no flag, and then I've looked towards the benches and Pardew's doing that dancing, and I thought, oh, here we go. That's that. We've lost the game, and somehow we did. And look, obviously, I think we had the season under Allardyce for a little bit, and then we tried to progress under De Boer.
Yeah,
and I think this is where Parish had a little bit of anxiety now when it comes to trying to progress this football club. Obviously, looking at it now, he's done a fantastic job. But keeping Roy Hodgson for as long as he did, I think it might have been needed to keep us at bay as a Premier League club. Obviously, we've seen a lot of teams now get promoted, then get relegated straight away. And I think that's because they try to progress too quickly. And I think that's a major issue. Maybe this season, hopefully with the way it's going, that might change. But obviously Hodgson then left. We got Vieira, and he's shown the first real bit of promise, I would say. When you look at the fact that we was slapping teams like Tottenham 3-0, we was giving teams like Liverpool a game. Obviously, Christian Ball, I've got to mention that. 2014.
Of course.
I've got to mention that. But we started to get a lot more competitive. Then when we went back to Roy Hodgson, it was a massive sort of point where we were like, well, what does this board actually want?
Yeah, it was a bit confusing. Yeah.
Yeah, but was the Vieira sacking needed? I'd probably say looking back. He did have a very tough run of fixtures from the January window onwards, and I think the board didn't back him to the full extent. However, the performances still weren't there, and the fact that Roy Hodgson came back in, no disrespect, and got good results shows that I think it might have been needed. And then obviously we tried to keep Roy Hodgson, which I think again was a bit of an error, because I think in Glasner's first campaign when he first joined, if he was there from the very beginning, we'd have finished the season a lot better than we did.
100%.
And I think that's where the mistake came in. Obviously, we were losing to when Luton were in the Premier League, we were losing to them away from home, and we lost 2-0 at home to Bournemouth. That patch, I was quite deep into this channel now and doing what I do. And I was just like, what's the point? Because we're just going to be 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. It's hard to talk about basically the same season for years on end, and people want to stay,
when nothing's actually happening and it's just consistently mid, if you know what I mean.
So obviously when we won the FA Cup, fast forward into that obviously helped me and really got me into a sense of, right, this football team are now trying to progress, right? And obviously the Liverpool Community Shield was great, and the fact that Glasner hasn't been back to the extent that again we would have liked in this window, and obviously we had the whole drama with Forest and the Europa League Conference League situation, which wasn't nice, I'm not going to lie. But the fact that we're still sitting 5th in the Premier League, the only unbeaten teams are us two, and obviously we just about scraped through in the Carabao Cup, which obviously you guys have got to play in about an hour and a half's time. It's great to see, and this journey has been remarkable, I've got to say.
Going back to the FA Cup final, I think everybody, myself included, was a Crystal Palace fan that day. I mean, that Dean Henderson thing did have me a bit worried, with was it handball, was it not? I mean, I'm not going to speak about it too much, but what a player Dean Henderson was. Played really, really well in that game. Kept Crystal Palace in it, some really top saves. Obviously, you have had such big moments. Is that up there as your favourite moment, winning the FA Cup, beating Man City?
100%. 100%. If someone would have said to me before that, what was your best Palace game that you went to? I'd probably say, and I don't think you'll know about this one, 17-18, we was 1-0 down, at home to Watford and we scored 2 in added time, or nearabouts there. And obviously, because I was there, it was such a great feeling. And if I'd had to go to a game that I didn't go to, was probably the Man City 3-2 of Townsend's thunderbolt of a volley.
Yeah.
Like, that was remarkable as well. But yeah, like that FA Cup win, I think it's going to be very hard to top that. I mean, obviously we're very early into the season now, but I think even a Conference League win, like, I get it, it'll be our first European trophy and whatever. And obviously I don't want to disrespect the Conference League, because the quality of the teams that are in that competition as opposed to the Europa League isn't great.
No. I understand where you're coming from there, yeah.
But that FA Cup win, obviously the first major trophy that I'd seen lifted, if you don't count the playoff final, but I don't personally.
Yeah.
Like, getting a trophy for finishing 5th in the Championship, you know, it's a trophy. It's real, but
yeah,
you know, you see that FA Cup and you're like, wow. And obviously the Community Shield was nice as well. So yeah, that FA Cup, as things stand, 100% got to be my favourite moment. I normally, when I was younger, was in tears after a defeat. I've never been in tears after a win. That, though,
yeah,
unbelievable.
It's iconic. It was such a good day. I remember watching it, and obviously when the Palace goal went in, it was just like, I said, they're going to do it. I said, they're actually going to do it. And the FA Cup as well, it's so iconic. As you said, no disrespect to the Conference League, but I think if you did have to pick this year, someone said Conference League or FA Cup, you're probably going to take the FA Cup again, aren't you? It's so much more just prestigious. Even in my opinion, like, touch wood, this doesn't happen. But Liverpool, if they ever do get down to the Conference League, it is a bit like, I think I have a couple of Chelsea fans I know, even they was a bit like, I can't really be arsed watching it, because it is, you're playing these teams you've never heard of in the arse end of nowhere, travelling 7 hours away sometimes, and you're like, what is the point? Speaking about big moments, opening day of the season, Eberechi Eze free kick against Chelsea. If that goal counts, you'd have been second right now. Crystal Palace could have been second in the Premier League. But no, VAR ruins it. Obviously, we're going to keep this bit brief because I think everybody watching, even me and you included, we all know the same answer. But what's your thoughts on VAR?
Before, when it first got introduced, I was like, it's not the rules, it's the people running it.
100%.
Now I'm starting to think the rules as well. Like, that is a goal, for example, right? Now, initially, when it first went to VAR, and I wasn't really listening to commentary because I was really like focused on the play at hand.
Yeah.
When I see the Gay shove, I'm like, well, that's if everyone's standing there, that's blocking the travel of the ball to go in the net. So I'm thinking it's like an encroachment. Or it's like a foul, because the shove was pretty strong. But I'm again thinking that's maybe Gay's natural strength on Caicedo.
Yeah.
But then when the referee went to the monitor and didn't give it, I thought, well, it's a foul then. But then he said it's because of a 1 meter rule. And I'm like, hold on. I turned around and I went, that must be a rule that was added this season and I didn't see it. Then 100%. Looked at it. It's been there since the beginning. And I'm like, I can look at a number of free kicks where that's happened and the goal stood. And I'm like, I'm not saying that there's a sort of bias towards teams when you look at Chelsea not only had our free kick, but also had the Fulham goal disallowed, which was another wild one. And you just start to look at it and you think, because these referees train for this.
Yeah.
Like, they have their own camps and everything. And I'm like, are you really, like, is this the best that we've got in this country?
That free kick thing as well, the shoving and pushing in the box, that happens every single set piece, every single free kick. And then the whole distance wall thing, it's woke. That rule, I was the same as you. When it first happened, I thought, oh, okay, opening day, it's a new rule. They're trying to stamp the authority. This does not happen. But then, as you said, it's been brought in from way back when. So it's like, hang on a minute, where's the consistency? And I do actually have to disagree with you. I think they have favoured Chelsea being a top 16. They're trying to protect them, opening day of the season, right? Chelsea need a win here, back in the Premier League. Money, back in the Champions League, sorry. Money. So even as a non-Palace fan, I was fuming watching that. So I can't imagine how you felt actually being a Palace fan. And then actually, if you look at the knock-on effect, Palace could have been second now. Like, it's mental, isn't it?
But we also could have been second if we had better squad depth in that Forest game. Like the Premier League game immediately after that, obviously going 1-0 up. And you look at the players that, ironically, Forest were bringing on. Hutchinson signed for just shy of 40 million.
Yeah.
And all that. And I get that they've got money, but we were a team that was attempted to progress. And obviously we had the whole UEFA dramas and stuff, but still, obviously we got to talk about the whole Mark Gahey transfer because it involved Liverpool.
Yeah.
And it just completely baffled me that, I wasn't saying that Gahey shouldn't go to Liverpool. He deserves it. He's a top centre half.
Yeah.
And I can't blame him for being disappointed with the board for not letting him leave. It was the fact that we was willing to replace him with Brighton's 5th choice centre back.
Yeah, the ambition wasn't there. It's not. Doesn't fill you with. I don't know what the word. Doesn't fill you with
excitement.
Yeah, because you're like, okay, Mark Gahey's, he's going to be going. Who are we going to bring in? What was it, 45, 50 mil around there? We're going to be getting, bargain, I think, for Gahey, considering a year or two ago, Newcastle were showing you 70 mil, and you lot were saying, no, don't want it. So,
but I know it sounds really, really cheesy. However, I would rather save that 40 million quid if it gets us a Conference League.
Yeah, if you look at the bigger picture, he goes on, obviously captain the side, lift the trophy and ever. It's going to be so much more beneficial than having 40 mil in your back pocket.
But what worries me is that, looking in the future, going into next season, I doubt Glasner signing another deal. So I think this is his last season in charge. Gahey's going, and I think Wharton will go.
Yeah.
He's having links everywhere, Wharton, and so is Gahey. Yeah. And then you look at how the board have really sort of, they've left it late, and the replacements, I don't know. And plus, obviously, we could have a Europa League season next season if we win the Conference League.
Well, fingers crossed, yeah.
Well, fingers crossed, yeah. But what I'm saying is, if we don't, again, people have been saying to me, with the whole casting, wouldn't you be better off in the Conference League with the squad that you've got? Because I actually do agree. If we were in the Europa League, I think we'd get battered with the squad that we've got. Yeah. But that is just full credit to Glasner, because I'm criticising how bad our squad is, yet we're unbeaten this season, and everyone's going to say, well, where's that come from? One man, Oliver Glasner. How he's managed to get this team to where they are when he was complaining about having 14 senior players fit at the start of the season. Yeah. And in August, we played 6 games in the space of 3 weeks, I think it was. Literally, weekend, midweek, playing that Fredrikstad game, playing you lot in the Community Shield. Luckily, we didn't have a Carabao Cup game to play, because I think that would have been the breaking point.
Been a bit too much, yeah.
It would have been. But, I just think that Parish and co have taken us as far as they can. They're not moving forward with the manager.
Yeah.
And I feel like that may be a problem in the future. But anyway, it's still, and I'm going to say this because I've been sort of it's been waiting for me to say it, but I'm going to say it now. This is the best time to be a Palace fan I've ever seen.
I agree.
In history, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I go to Palace week in, week out at Selhurst. I've spoken to people of all ages, right? And even the people who are 70, 80 years old, who have seen Palace of old, they've said this is the best time to be a Crystal Palace fan.
And I do agree. Yeah, absolutely. I do agree.
We're now looking into a Liverpool game going, if we just, steal a point, get a point, right? We're then unbeaten in 18 competitive games if we don't lose on Saturday. Then we've got 2 more games for the international break. We're away at Dynamo Kiev in the Conference League, then away at Everton's new ground.
Yeah. Before
the international break. We could go into the international break 20 competitive games unbeaten. Do you know how mad that is?
It's a crazy start.
When everyone would turn around to me a couple of years ago and go, why do you support Crystal Palace? So boring. Always 12. And I would agree with them. I would agree with them. And I'd say, this is so boring. Roy Hodgson, okay, he's keeping us up, but this is boring now.
You want the next step.
We want the next step. Especially when, we started seeing teams like Brentford, Forest, Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Fulham, all teams like that getting promoted and doing bigger things and finishing higher up in the league.
Yeah.
And you just see us go 12, 12, 12. And you're like, oh, it's, but yeah, it's great at this moment in time. Really good.
So obviously then, speaking about Oliver Glasner and your current form, as you said then, 17 now games unbeaten, 7 wins, 10 draws, beat West Ham at the weekend, which I did a video today, no disrespect to West Ham, but pretty shit.
Yeah.
But if you do look at the fixtures, they have been, soft. I think you could kind of agree as well. Forest, Sunderland, West Ham, and Villa. None of those teams have got the real firepower that Liverpool have got. How do you feel going into the game against Liverpool, who have got such a good record at Selhurst Park? Taking into the fact that you are 17 games unbeaten. What are your thoughts going into the game? Is it see it out to half time? I spoke to Jacob the other week as a Burnley fan, and his thoughts was if we can get to half time 0-0, we're going to be all right. And they nearly was, to be fair. Last minute FC people are calling us at the minute with the handball penalty malarkey. So, what are your thoughts going into the game, and what are you kind of hoping to get from the game? Obviously a win, but just from your perspective.
Well, I'd love a win. I can't think of a Palace fan who wouldn't. But
yeah.
You're saying about soft games, Forest, Villa, and whatnot. These were teams that we don't have great records against anyway. We haven't won a Premier League game at Villa Park. Obviously, we have beaten Villa in our last few games, but we haven't won a Premier League away game at Villa Park since 2013 before that win against them a couple of weeks ago.
Wow. Oh, wow.
We haven't got a great record there. So for us to get a win there, you might say it's against a softer team, but for us, we're pretty rare to get a win there. And the same goes when we play Everton away in a couple of weeks. Yeah. We've not won there since 2014 in the Premier League. You look at things like that, and Forest as well. We've not beaten them since they got promoted in any competitive game. So and obviously the 17 game unbeaten run also goes into last season, where we kept Liverpool at Anfield at bay, the cup final. We won at Spurs. All right, okay, they did finish 17th that season and weren't great, but we still managed. I think that was our first win there in the league since '97.
Yeah,
it was mental. So for us to get a win there, brilliant. We got a point at the Emirates. And everyone's saying, oh yeah, they're all draws, but we used to lose by 1 goal and go, oh, well, we tried. At least now we're trying to stay in games and stay unbeaten. And right now that's what we're doing. Against the Liverpool side with as much firepower as you've got, obviously bringing either Isak or Ekitike off the bench, and then you look at us, we're going to bring on, with all due respect, Eddie Nketiah on. You're you look at the quality and you're like, well, obviously you favour Liverpool in this one.
Yeah.
But I've got a couple of Liverpool fan flatmates, and they said before you played Everton at a weekend, they said it'll either be Everton or Palace that will do us in.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
And obviously Everton, I didn't watch the whole game, but they played quite well for the most part I saw.
Especially second half, yeah.
Second half, they were all right. So look, I think with Palace is that we're trying to embed quite a couple of new players into this team. Obviously, one being Jeremy Pino for one. Yeah. And I've said in his first couple of games, the work rate is there. The end product, not so much. Not at the levels of Eze is what I'd say. But obviously, it'd be very difficult for a team like us to replace Eze. It was the same sort of thing when we tried to replace Michael Elise with Ismail Assar. We said, well, Ismail Assar's never going to do what Elise used to do, but he's embedded himself to become a team player. Will it be, time for Pino to shine against Liverpool? Maybe. You never know. Yeah. Obviously, we've got other players as well, like Christantus Uche, who want to come off the bench, make an impression. Yeah. He has done that in the last couple of games against Sunderland and Millwall in the Cup. Did he come on against West Ham? I don't think he did. Also, new 19-year-old centre-half as well, who, if we're trying to keep that 0-0, let's say, then he'll need to come on and, do well as well. So, but obviously when you look at the firepower of Salah, Ekitike / Isak and Gakpo, you're like, oh, it's a different breed, Liverpool. I will say that.
I do 100% agree with your point earlier about people saying it'll either be Everton or Palace that beat them because we always struggle against Everton. You know, it's a Merseyside derby. Both teams are going to be up for it, and obviously the James Tarkowski volley last year, still get nightmares about that now. To be honest, awful defending from us. But we move on. But I do like to think Palace will give us a game. Palace are no pushovers. I mean, you saw the Community Shield final. A lot of Liverpool fans did go into that game going, "Ah, Palace, happy days," and I was like, no, I was like, we need to be switched on it, and look what happened. I always think we struggled against Palace, even when we played at Selhurst when we wore this kit. I think it was only 1-0. You guys put that much pressure on us, and it is quite frightening because we haven't been playing that well. Yes, we've been winning, and it sounds so ironic being top of the league. You know, 5 wins from 5, and I'm still complaining. But as you said, in football, you're never happy, are you?
No.
Even though we are top and we are winning, I'm still going into game watching it on the edge of my seat, going, "Oh my word, oh my word!" Nearly drew to Burnley, nearly drew to Arsenal, could have drew to Newcastle. Football is all about fine margins. If little things don't go our ways in certain games, we could end up like City are now. Like what a City like eighth, ninth, something like that. Like
Yeah.
down there. All about if buts and maybes. And I do think we haven't conceded first yet in the league, but we've given away 2 goal leads. If Palace do go 1-0 up, nick a corner, or Mateta is a really good player. I know he gets quite a lot of shit, and I don't know why. Mateta is a really good player from an outsider. I'm not sure your opinions of him, but watching Mateta play, he can cause Konate a problem. Konate has not been at his best at all. If Konate has an off day, Mateta will bully him and rag him off the ball. If Palace can go 1-0 up and, God forbid, 2-0 up, Selhurst Park, loud, 17 games unbeaten, it's going to be a real struggle for Liverpool. And I said this the other day, Liverpool can't keep relying on last-minute winners. Oh, the magic's still there, last minute, because if one game that doesn't happen, it dries up mentality in the bin. So I do think we need to be switched on for this Palace game. I did predict a 2-1 victory, which I think is fair. I think even as a Palace fan, you'd say 2-1. All right, champions of England. It could go either way, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
What's your prediction for the game, and how do you actually see it going?
Well, before I give the prediction, you said about Mateta, and I don't think I can think of a player for Palace who started as, should I say, badly?
A
Yeah.
bit,
Or
a bit on it. Like you expected more straight away,
yeah,
if you know what I
yeah,
mean.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And obviously, he did score that ridiculous flick against Brighton. You remember the one where he sort of,
yeah,
I know it's not called this, but like the rouletted the ball through the keeper's legs.
no, yeah, I
Like,
remember it. Yeah,
yeah. And I think, didn't he have something like, I don't think he even reached double figure goals in his first couple of seasons under Hodgson and Patrick Vieira.
yeah,
I don't know whether it's the tucking the shirt in, or I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the hatred towards corner flags. But you know what? Like he's really, really come good, and I
yeah,
feel like that's where we shouldn't write off players too early. Like I said that when I first started on my channel about Mateta. I also said the same thing about Daichi Kamada when
yeah,
he first signed
yes, yeah.
last season. I said, look, this guy's
Again,
not good
really,
enough.
really good player. Really good player, by
I
the
said
way.
he ain't
Yeah,
good enough at the start. And you know what? I always say as a Palace fan, and I think a lot of content creators say the same, I would love nothing more than to be proved wrong.
yeah,
I'd
yeah.
love nothing more. And you know
I'm,
what?
I'm the
Mateta
same.
and Kamada, 2
Yeah,
players that have definitely done that. Like I
yeah,
knew said about the 1-0 win for you lot last season. I think that was at a point where we started really badly. I think we had 6 games at that point, 6 games, no wins. And obviously, Liverpool at home, you're like, oh, this is going to be a struggle.
yeah,
Obviously, rest in peace, Diogo Jota, but he did score the goal to put them 1-0 up very early on. And we were
yeah,
sitting there like, oh, here we go. Like,
yeah,
this is it. And then I think we sort of picked up the mentality where we were like, right, we've got nothing to lose now.
yeah.
Nothing to lose, and we will just go at them. And I think you had to put, wasn't it a Hungarian keeper in goal?
Yeah, because is it Jaros or something? I'm gonna get cooked for that,
Yaros,
but
I think his name was.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and Eze was clean through on goal. Alisson's just been taken off. I don't know what
Yeah.
was wrong with Kelleher at that point, but
He was
Alisson,
injured, yeah.
He was injured, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Alisson just got taken off. I had no idea who this keeper was. Eze's through on goal. I'm like, get in. Puts it straight at the keeper.
Yeah.
For the first time effort, straight at the keeper, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And we were sat there with, like, again, just like De Boer, 7 games, no wins. And Palace fans, some of them were even comparing Glasner to Frank De Boer. I said, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? But in terms of predictions for this game anyway, I don't think it will be any more than 3 goals in this game. I don't think it'll be any more than that.
Yeah.
Like, I think 1-0 either way would be sort of safe. But again, there's going to be, I reckon there'll be 2 goals in this.
Yeah.
I think it'll either be 1-1. All right, either 1-1 or 2-1 Liverpool.
I think they'll be tight, yeah.
I can't
with
see.
you.
I can't. I'm sorry, any Palace fans watching this, because everyone will just start calling me negative again. But even though with the the great run that we have had, I just can't see Palace winning this game. I really can't. I think it might be a little bit of a breaking point to the fatigue of the squad. Obviously, we've got a game on Thursday to think about. Our first, league phase game in the Conference League is the game after that as well. So obviously they'll be thinking about that. This is where I'm starting to get worried about this season now. Again, everyone will start, moaning at me saying, yeah, we're 5th right now. Yeah, but we're showing this fatigue now, and being in the Conference League gives us a bigger chance of getting deeper into that competition, which will last till about April, May before we get into the final. So it's going to last all season. And with the fatigue that we've got right now, and we've not even gone into game 1 of the league phase yet, and you look at the teams that we have got after our league phase games: Everton away, Arsenal away, Man City at home. I think one of them's like Leeds away. They've not started too badly.
No.
That's another one. So I think there's an added pressure for us to get these points on the board now to make up for later.
100%. I get what you mean.
I'll stay a little bit optimistic, and I'll say 1-1.
1-1. That's fair. You're playing it safe down the middle. I've got a remote. If I fast forward now to May, what would be your ideal Crystal Palace overall season? Like Conference League finish, league finish, cups. What would you look at and go, yeah, happy with that? What would you class as a good season?
I said when I predicted the Premier League table that I would happily have us finish 12th again if we do well in the Conference League.
Yeah.
Because the chant goes 12th again, who gives a beat, we won the FA Cup. I'd love to do that again, but just swap the FA Cup for Conference League.
Or both. You can win both.
Or us doing the double. That'd be insane.
That'd be generational.
Yeah, but look, league, I think, would aiming for top half be a bit of a stretch, me saying that now, because we're 5th in the league, and obviously one result could push us right back down again into mid-table.
Yeah.
So am I getting on my high horse for saying that I expect us to finish top half? I think so. I think maybe top of the bottom half will do me quite well. I'd say like 11th, 12th. We finished 10th to 15th every season since promotion.
Yeah.
And am I going to go against that now? Probably not, with it being our first European campaign. Looking at the Conference League, we are favourites to win it.
Yeah.
And that is something that's, very rare for me to say. We're favourites to win something. I look at the other teams that are in the competition. You've got Fiorentina, who have made a Conference League final and a semi-final last season. They lost out to Betis, who then lost to Chelsea.
Yeah.
So they know what this competition's like. They know what it's about. They'll be prepared for it.
Yeah.
So will AZ Alkmaar, a team we've got to play in the league phase. I think they beat Tottenham at home last season. So they do have quality in that side. Then you look at the fatigue in our squad, and again, I don't want to seem negative because we are favourites, but with the squad that we've got, unless if we invest heavily in January, I don't know if we'll win. I think semi-finals at best. I'll be proud of that.
You take semi-finals, yeah?
Take semi-finals, because that takes us right to like the middle of April, start of May.
Yeah.
And then you've had sort of a full season in Europe. Anything more than that, finalists, win it. Yeah. Obviously more than happy with that. In
Yeah,
terms of the domestic cups, Carabao Cup, I've never really seen Palace do very well. Since
yeah,
being a Palace fan, we've reached the quarterfinals, and that was last season.
yeah,
Lost to Arsenal. Obviously, we're only one round away from that now because we're already through to the last
yeah,
16.
yeah.
Um, Look, it is a guaranteed way to get back into Europe, especially if we don't finish in them spots in the Premier League. I think it's like Conference League playoff or something or
It's
other.
so yeah,
It's yeah, it's like I think you'd have to play more playoff games than we did this season.
Mm.
Like you'd be in an earlier round, or I don't know. But like, um, does the Carabao Cup really bother me? I mean, you haven't really
I
got a
think
divine right to win
it
things.
only bothers you if you're in the semis, really. I think it's
Yeah,
look and a draw. If you can get easy teams along the way, happy day. You start drawing Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, you get like, oh, just forget
like
about
I've
it,
already
sort of
looked at the
thing.
teams that are left in the competition.
Yeah,
Grimsby are already through. Best hate
yeah.
watch of the season against United, by the way.
I know, it's amazing.
Um, there's two games tonight where it's non-Premier League games. You've got Wrexham against Reading and Wigan against Wycombe Wanderers. So
Yeah,
you're looking at that and you're going, right, there's some guaranteed
easy.
non-Premier League teams that are through to the next round.
Yeah,
But then you also want the big teams to get through because you want them to play each other in the
yeah,
next round. Like I
yeah,
wouldn't mind, let's say, I don't know, because Man City have got Huddersfield and Tottenham have got Doncaster Rovers,
yeah,
let's say. I'd turn around and go like, right, I want Tottenham and Man City to play each other next round. One of them goes out,
yeah,
easier for a team like us.
yeah,
And I think that's what kind of happened in the FA Cup. Yes, we did beat Man City in the final, and obviously Villa in the semi-final was a tough game as well, even though we made
yeah,
it look
yeah.
really, really easy.
I
Um,
predicted Palace to win that as well, by the way.
yeah, nice one, nice one. But if you look at the rounds prior to that, we played every team in the top four leagues.
Yeah,
Stockport at home, League One. Doncaster away, who in the time were in League Two.
yeah,
Millwall at home,
yeah,
Championship, and Fulham away from the Premier League.
yeah.
Only conceded one goal throughout that whole thing. And I think with the FA Cup, for me, it means more. And actually, this season, we're trying to defend
Defend it.
our
So
reign.
yeah,
Defend our reign. Like, I've never said that ever. And, like, obviously, it's going to be quite difficult for me to get used to that still, even now. Like,
mm.
obviously, when we won the FA Cup, I couldn't believe it anyway. And we didn't know about the whole European dramas, but I thought Europa League football, like, it won't be real until we've kicked a ball in the competition.
Yeah,
But in the Conference League, we played Fredrikstad twice,
yeah.
and even now I'm like, this ain't real. This is gonna be a mad season,
Yeah,
mad
it is. It's
season. But
crazy
but yeah, if I had to choose FA Cup, Carabao Cup, FA Cup all day long,
all day. I think that's everybody really. It's such a prestigious trophy, and
especially
it is.
now. If the Carabao Cup had semi-finals at Wembley as well, just like the FA Cup does.
Yeah,
Because I think it's obviously harder to reach a Carabao Cup final than an FA Cup semi-final where you're
yeah,
guaranteed that Wembley day out.
yeah,
Like, and that for me in a season is wonderful because I don't go to a lot of away games. Some people
yeah.
may call me, plastic fan for not going to away games and all that. But like,
Oh,
the
don't
reason
worry
being
about
is
it.
because I'm a student and prices for things are through the roof. You know,
Mate,
ticket
you,
prices, train travel. Once you've had a couple of beers there, food as well. If you go into like Newcastle away on a
yeah,
Tuesday night, then
yeah,
you need a hotel. Like
yeah,
all things like that is what makes me not go to away games. Like London games, fine, because
yeah.
I'm like, obviously, well, people going about London travel is expensive, but it can be at times. But
It's easier. It's a lot more
easier to do.
accessible.
It's
Yeah,
easier to do. Like West Ham away. I was at the game
yeah,
on Saturday. I've gone
yeah,
to West Ham away. I think since they were in the London Stadium anyway. I think I've gone when they moved there 2016, 2021, 9 times. I think I've been there a good 5 times out of 9.
yeah.
There.
It's good stadiums as well.
I've been Stamford Bridge. I went to the old White Hart Lane. I've been
Yeah,
Craven Cottage. I went to the old Griffin Park before it turned into Brentford's new place.
yeah.
So I've been to Vicarage Road as well. So yeah, like obviously that's easier, but yeah, like so that Wembley day out means a lot to me. So
It's
I'd
only a
go
matter
FA
of
Cup.
time before. I think it's only a matter of time before they change the Carabao Cup semi-final to Wembley. Obviously, more money, people going to Wembley. Anything to get money out of fans. So only a matter of time before they do that, I believe. So, a quick little fun segment here. If you could pinch one player from our squad to be in your squad for Saturday, who would it be and why?
Part of me thinking Salah, obvious reasons.
Yeah.
FPL captain as well, so I don't really want to like captain him against my own team.
Not against your own team, though.
But I feel like, well, no, because I'm looking at I looked at my FPL earlier and it's terrible without Salah being captain. You've got too many good players. I wouldn't say McAllister, ex-Brighton. He can get out of here.
He can go.
I'm thinking of every position, right? So
Alisson,
top-class keeper. However, Henderson has proved himself.
Henderson's decent.
Henderson's a decent keeper, so no. Would I replace Kirkes or Robertson with Mitchell? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I would. Mind you, Kirkes is like Tom Daly these days, so with the Burnley.
To be fair, there's one player I thought you would have said straight away, and I think he'd suit Palace down to a T. Ryan Gravenberch. Imagine Ryan Gravenberch in that Crystal Palace midfield.
With
what
Wharton.
an engine.
With Wharton. Like,
what an engine.
To be fair, like, if I had to get rid of a player out of this squad, I'd probably go for, I know I hate to say it, but Will Hughes.
Yeah.
I don't think he fits the time of this team trying to progress.
No,
I know what
you mean.
If you're doing builder bets for this game, by the way, anyone watching, back a Will Hughes yellow card.
100%.
Do it. Like, I think he's one away from a ban already.
He's a bit of an old school English midfielder, isn't he?
So, like, if you put like a more modern player like Gravenberch in there, or Szoboszlai.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm a massive fan of Szoboszlai, however you pronounce his name.
He gets a lot of stick as well, Szoboszlai.
Yeah, I actually like really, really rate him. And you know what? If I weren't a Palace fan and I had the choice of McAllister, I might pick him as well. No, I'd probably I'll go Szoboszlai to go into this team. Obviously, Salah would be remarkable. Obviously, with Ismaila Sarr being out injured as well.
Yeah,
can't really compare Ismaila Sarr to Mo Salah. But like, but you know what I mean. Like, we're sort of lacking in that right hand side. So the obvious one would probably be Salah, but in terms of actually being practical about it, I'd probably go Szoboszlai.
Yeah, great that. To be fair, going back to your point earlier about when, I know it was a while ago, when Mateta was in the team and you saw his first couple of years and you were like, oh, he's crap, but then you wanted to be proved wrong. I actually did a couple of TikToks when we were linked with Ekatike, because we were linked with Isaac as well. The price tag with Ekatike, I was like, oh my word. And then we signed him and I did a video, I did a rant. I was like, get him gone. I said, I hate him. Don't want nothing to do with him. The minute he put that Liverpool shirt on, I thought, right, okay, let's back him. And oh my word, I'm an Ekatike fanboy. This guy is amazing. I called him the best striker in the league the other day and I got a lot of crap on social media. Yeah, you lot watching. But I'm an Ekatike fan.
Yeah, I would be as well. Like that goal that he scored against us in the Community Shield, 4 minutes into a competitive debut
at Wembley as well.
And the way he took it in his stride, I literally because normally if it's like an avoidable goal, I go nuts about it. But I looked at it and I went, you know what, fair.
He had that many defenders around him as well. He actually took a shot and it went in. It's so refreshing to see because we've gone from, oh my word, Darwin Núñez, who, you know, if Darwin Núñez is in that position, it's either hitting a corner flag or it's knuckleball in top corner. You never know what you're getting with him. With Ekatike, it's so refreshing just to see a lovely striker.
You get a bit more consistency out of him.
You do as well, and he's just so, he's lovely to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, like, but again, like Mateta's first couple of years was so bad that we was even like wanting Edouard to start over him when we first signed him.
Yeah.
And like players like that, and obviously, now that argument's settled now, isn't it?
Yeah. Klopp signed Núñez. Did Núñez have 3 years at the club? And going into this transfer window, I said Núñez has got to go. It's been 3 years. It's been funny, like the banter's been there, but I said he ain't good enough to lead us to another Prem. But yeah, no. Enough of Núñez. I'm glad he's gone. So guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe. Mason, where can they find, what should I call your links and stuff?
Yeah, so Palace Bad Mason on YouTube. I do like vlogs and reviews for most away games. I do a couple of away vlogs from time to time, and obviously we've got our European campaign as well. So that's something new for me to introduce to this channel as well. So really looking forward to doing that. And my TikTok's mainly short clips reacting to Palace news and more sort of shorter reviews. My YouTube's more for longer in-depth videos where I have a little bit more of a say and a chat about it. TikTok, I try and keep it as brief as possible, but it's got me the higher following. So to Palace Man Mason YT, that is on TikTok, and Palace Man Mason on its own on YouTube.
Everything will be linked down below anyway, guys. Go and check it out. Obviously, drop me a follow as well. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. There we go, man.